How y'all doing, man? Hello to Hello TV. I am Casa, half of the jealous guys. This is our first episode, man. So you catching history in the making, bro. We appreciate y'all. Y'all could be anywhere in the world, but you tapped in with the guys, man, and that's what matters most to us. Today's episode, we're going to give y'all a little backstory, man, because not everybody might be familiar. If you are familiar, much love. If you're not, stay tuned, man, because we got a lot to discuss. We're going to be interviewing each other for the first couple episodes. Today, I'll be interviewing my brother Yin about his come up, about his story, his trials and tribulations and his glory, where he's from, what type of game he was around, what type of ism that, you feel me, the parental unit was lacing him with. All types of the stuff, man. Y'all gonna get the full out scope of the backstory. You know what I mean? And then we go into another segment that we got called Gear Assessment. And you know, we fly brothers, bro. We like nice things. So we just gonna, go over whatever it is that we got today. Hopefully we got some of the homies. We rocking some homie brands or our own stuff. Shout out to the people. And then for our last segment today, we gonna do choose or lose segment. Basically, it's just rapid fire questions, nothing too crazy, but we throw some situationals at you. It's kind of hard to pick one, and if you know what I mean, you can't pick one, you're gonna have to drop down and hit some. You know what I'm saying? 5 push-ups for the, for the Hulkisms. Anyway, man, like I said, bro, we appreciate y'all tuning in. This is Hello TV podcast episode 1. The Jealous Guys Art of Hip Hop, man. Sign it up.
Shout out to the homies gang, you understand me, from SoCal, California, you understand me, in the LA area. They gave us some clothes, man. They gave me some clothes, they gave Casa some clothes, you feel me? We will be wearing this stuff, you know what I mean, going forward. GANG, gladly achieving necessary goals. I come from the hood, so being able to see something that has a label on it, or whatever they say, a connotation, blah, 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 and be able to turn it around into something super positive. Gang, gang, gang. So shout out to gang. Yeah, that's about it, man. You know what I mean? Drip check, you know what I mean? We'll get to it. We'll get to it when it's time. But yeah, man, peace and blessings.
What's up with y'all, man? What's up with my dog, man? How you feeling, man? Hello.
Konnichiwa, bonjour, hola, all of the good stuff.
How you feeling, my man? This is the first episode of the podcast. We said fuck it. Started our I ain't gonna be cussing too much, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get the monetary but you know what I mean, bro. It's our first episode, man. We really, really appreciate y'all tuning in, bro. For everybody who is familiar with us, welcome back. For the people who aren't familiar with us, we want to just give y'all some type of backstory, you know what I'm saying, about who we are, where we come from, what we represent, what the purposes align with the stars in the universe, yada, 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 you know. But we gonna jump right in, man. So, Yin.
Yeah, man.
I got a couple questions for you, man.
Ask me whatever you want.
All right, we're going to start like this, bro. Sir, what is your name?
I go by Yin. I'm one half of TJG, the Jealous Guy.
Okay.
One half of Art of Hip Hop. And a partner in this beautiful Oceanside sea moss, which we'll be getting to later on.
Man, get your health right. Pop your collar if they holler. Yin, where are you from, sir?
I was born in San Francisco, born and raised, and from the Lakeview neighborhood. My family as well had a lot of property in Hunters Point. I grew up in my 20s in East Oakland, as well as stayed out the way, and fortunately made it back towards the beautiful city of San Francisco, man.
You have an interesting name.
Yeah.
You know, when I hear Yin, I think money. You know what I mean? Like my Asian brother, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yellow Peril to Black Panther hood, you know what I mean? If y'all know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
What does your name mean, bro?
I ain't gonna say my real name.
Yeah, they don't gotta say
Yin stems from my name, which my name means we gave praises and he came. I was premature.
And they put God on the money. How about that?
I was premature for about 3 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was a miracle, baby. They gave praises to God, you know what I mean? And then I was able to come about.
He here, ain't he? How did we meet? When, I should say when and how did we meet?
So we met in preschool. We met in preschool and again in kindergarten. At the time, you were staying by Bayshore. I was staying in Lakeview. You came to school one day, your lunch pail was popping.
I love this story, bro.
I ain't gonna say who, bro.
Rest in peace, auntie, bro.
We had a partner at the school at the time where his family was a little bit less fortunate than ours. We met at Fellowship Academy, all black private school. One of the
Man,
black private
rest in
schools
peace,
San Francisco.
Fellowship.
off of Bay Shore.
Teaching black excellence before it was a meme, man. You know what I mean?
Small little school by the little San Bruno Avenue.
Up off Silver.
Looked like military houses, little project buildings. One day, my mom came in there. There was another kid in there who didn't have nothing. And
had an extra apple, man.
She
You know what I mean?
food in your lunch pail. Your mom was like, man, somebody got the ism effed up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Moms went up there looking for my mom the next day.
Didn't say a word, man.
Best friends ever since. And then once you moved towards Daly City, you know, Daly City and Lakeview pretty much connects in terms of once you
very close,
Lakeview goes into Daly City.
Yeah.
So you was walking to my house, you know what I mean, probably up until we graduated high school. And it's been on ever since. I know we went separate areas in between, but overall, you know what I mean, we ended up graduating from the same high school too.
That's basically it. That's a good gist. That's a good
then
gist.
We met again one day, you know what I mean? You was on your Yaska to how to die.
But don't.
No,
Oh,
okay.
wait, should we save it? Let me tell that story. Let me tell that story.
And then,
yeah.
And from that day forward, I basically came up to bro. I seen him in the hood one day on Holloway, and I came up to him and I said, basically, you should let me make the beats, and you should become the lyricist. And we've been trying to make music ever since. We have been making music ever since.
That's the shortest, most simplest version I could get y'all at this time. What schools did you attend growing up?
So with you, I attended preschool, elementary at Fellowship Academy.
Of course, I shouldn't even ask that.
No, you could ask that.
But yeah, it's part of my question.
And then I went to Aptis for middle school, Longfellow to finish elementary. Then Meadows Livingston, you know what I mean?
That's down Mission, right?
That was the
a couple blocks up from Mission, Geneva.
Under the freeway. And then I went to where else? Then
it was ninth grade, right?
Then I went to Creative Arts Charter School. No, that was 6th grade. That was finishing. That was finishing 7th and 8th grade.
Longfellow, Aptis, and then you went to Bay School.
Longfellow, Aptis, Meadows, Livingston, back to Fellowship Academy, then to Bay School,
okay.
Then to City Arts and Tech.
So you jumped around.
I went to hella school.
He was jumping around. Okay.
So them is the schools I went to, and I ended up graduating with you. Well, my class graduated in
before me. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then your class graduated
the following year. I fucked up, man.
Mission and Persia, basically.
It was in View.
No,
wait, what you mean? Oh.
We went to the same
yes, you right. We was right off Persia. Yeah.
The school went to a different location.
Yeah, I'm tripping. Yeah, off Persia. Yeah. Like June Jordan. We shared a campus with June Jordan. Yeah. For Cat. Yeah. That's when we left the View.
From the same high school.
Yeah. Okay, did you go to college anywhere? Did you do anything?
No, I went to, I tried to do City College for like a week. That didn't work out. Then I ended up, after I moved out towards the East Bay, I went to LMC for a little bit. And then that was in Pittsburgh, and that kind of just pretty much gave me the ism in terms of culture all over.
Reconnecting.
Yeah, the bookwork that I pretty much missed out on in high school that I should have been learning about the whole time.
Right.
Because I was in the Emotion program. Right. So it was a black program.
Shout out Jamila. Shout out everybody. DBP.
Yeah, it was a black program where you had black students taking black academics, so it was black while we was there. You feel me? It was kept it lit. And then I dropped out of that, y'all. And then I kept, you know what I mean, kept staying at it with music ever since.
Fantastic. All right, y'all. Gear assessment. Nothing more complicated than it sounds. We just check on what we got today. Whether it be our own merch, whether it be some people that we mess with, or just some corporate brand that we don't have no ties to. We just like to, you know what I'm saying, show some type of love and fashion or appreciation for fashion in the game, right? So we gonna do drip check on me or you today, or both?
Well, both really.
Okay, so let's start you drip check. So drip check for you, man.
All right, drip check.
What we got?
We got mismatching socks. Mismatching socks.
Yeah, show them the mismatching socks.
The NBA joints and then the marijuana things.
Hold on, I gotta get this thing looking a little blurry, man. I gotta get this right.
So I got the Animal Instincts. These are Jordan 3s. I got these athlete foot things. You know, no. Yeah, I got these from athlete's foot. Matter of fact, these sweatpants, $50. You understand me? And then I got the double swoosh. You understand me? I'm cheap before it beat this probably clearance. Clearance $60.
Clearance rack, yeah.
And then I got the
winner's rack.
Power. Power to the little people.
Hold on, let me get it. Don't buzz down. Yeah, hold on. Let me show love. Damn. There we go. Power to the little
So
people.
this is a hat from a nonprofit in LA. I think it's, I could be wrong, but I think it's
Hold
Nipsey.
on, gang. What about the sling pack, gang?
Hold on, let me give you the hat. I think this is Nipsey Hussle's sister's nonprofit that she worked with.
Okay.
And then...
And it's called what again?
Dreamers Youth. And then this is the Melanin Gang bag. I'm not sure. I think they're from the East Bay, but I seen it. I contacted them, and they showed us hella love.
I like that melanin, man.
And then, and then we got the Art of Hip Hop, you know what I mean, hoodie. Boom, that we brought in today.
Equipment. Yep.
And that's gear assessment.
Yes, sir. All right,
y'all. So we got gear assessment, you know what I mean, today. One half, Casa.
Man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, okay,
Head to
man.
toe.
Check it out, man. Check it out. Let me do it, man. So we got the Air Jordan Dos. You know what I'm talking about? I had the little French accent because if you know anything about Air Jordan 2s, they were originally made with Italian leather back in the day. You know what I'm talking about? Then we got the OG bust down selvage denims today. Real slim, fitty itty. These are custom Art of Hip Hops though. You know what I'm saying? So hit us up at Art of Hip Hop.
So you made those pants yourself?
You know what I'm saying? I customized them myself, you know what I'm saying? I'll show y'all the back a little bit, you know what I mean? Custom tapestry, one-on-one tapestries that, you know what I mean? Get in there.
T-shirt?
Shout out to Big Bro,
You got
Sway to
it.
God.
Yeah, I'm like, you moving around.
Shout out to Big, I move, man, I move. Shout out to Big Bro, Sway to God, One Speed, you know what I'm saying? We actually working on a special project y'all gonna hear about very, very soon. And then for the outerwear today, we got this OG Nike Town Varsity, you know what I mean, that I also love and I have for like about a decade or so, you know what I mean. And then last but not least, the crown is always with the get down. My boy Hoopty hooked me up with a personal, very player exclusive with the pink brim on the underside, you know what I'm saying. You ain't gonna see nobody with the Hoopty pink brim, and you know. That's how we rocking today. It's, you know, some slight ways. Let's jump into some fashion, man. What was some cultural kicks growing up that was essential? Like this was uniform. Cause I remember us going play. They were like, bro, y'all, I don't know where y'all from, bro, cause y'all ain't in uniform.
Well, so you talking about the night we went to the St. Media?
Oh man.
So back then, Jabos was a big thing in the neighborhood. Barclays was big. Air Maxes was big. Jordans was big. Academics, Miss King.
Rockaware.
You know what I mean? Rockaware, all of that good stuff. So
Ooh,
one night, me
I
and
just
you went
felt
to a
some
party at St. Media's.
Yeah.
And they was telling us, you know, because we went with some brothers from the neighborhood, and they was like, well, if anything happened, we don't know who to tell you guys apart.
I remember what we had. No, let me tell them what we had on.
Yeah, you had on the...
I had on the Mike Vick college jersey with the Bo Jacksons.
Yeah.
I thought I was fresh.
Well, your Bo Jackson was in uniform.
I think those was your Bo Jacksons.
Probably.
We shared a lot of shit. We shared a lot of shit. Yeah.
I got a story on that too.
Oh man. Okay. What were some of your favorite cars growing up, bro? Well, like you feel me, growing up, Lakeview was a very, very cultural place. So you saw a lot of different, you feel me, hustlers and
Delvin got me on buckets and scrapers young. He used to pick us up on Fridays, and then we used to go to the side show. Same thing with Quincy, John.
Same with
John
cousin
had a
John.
box Chevy. So the box Chevy, the Nissan Zs, the 9.6 Impalas, the Caprices that they turned out to kind of look like Impalas. All the way down
the
to
bootleg
the
9.6,
Mavericks, the Datsuns, the Buick Centuries. I love anything that was scraping.
Classics.
Hustler.
You like the hustler oriented classic joints.
And then after I found out more about muscle cars, I didn't get into it, but I found out about the whole the Japanese import stuff through you later on. But I didn't get into that as much.
How would you describe your household, bro? Growing up, you had a father that was Jamaican. Your mom was a community leader and a thoroughbred activist. What was it like? But they were also very heavily musically inclined. What was that like growing up in that household? What was the dynamics at play there?
It was musical because moms did K-pop, whip hop. So not together the same show. Mom had a show on the Poor People's Radio where they just talked about black activism and politics and stuff like that going on in the city. Pops did reggae, you know what I mean? When you walk outside, you heard Selsky and Coog no matter what. You go down to the barbershop, that's the main music that you listen to.
Uncle Larry's.
Uncle Larry's, you know what I mean, on Holloway.
Right on Holloway, yeah.
So I would say it was very cultural, yet militant, yet ratchet, and very educational all at once. That was my household all
I like that.
Yeah.
So you had a balance.
Yeah, I had a good balance.
That's the universe.
And musically, Pops was into music. Moms love music. My auntie was Sugar Pie DeSanto, who used to be real close with Etta James. And my auntie named the Domingos. They had a band of their own, so music was always around.
It was prevalent in that.
While a lot of the real action was going on outside, when it was like getting active in that sense, moms would still put me and you in poetry classes, breakdance classes, DJ classes, you know what I mean, all that stuff, and still not knock us, still drop us off in the projects on Saturday before we go to church, Sunday, stuff like that, but kept us more on the arts and craft tip because we was really that good with the math and the science and all that.
Nah, we visual learners.
So
we like hands-on.
When you put that in your household, it pushes out more of your creativity than for you to go out there and try to conform with the rest.
Broadens your kids' horizon, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of that, being outside, what was it like when you were early teens coming up?
I was smooth. I had a diverse crowd. I went to creative arts, city arts and tech for high school. So it was a whole bunch of stuff. It was hustlers. It was brothers who was with the ism. It was punk rocks. It was the brown kids that was from the mission. It was the Asian kids that was from Chinatown. You know what I mean? They had their own set of projects and stuff too. So it was my teenage years was pretty. It was smooth. It was diverse. I hung around the tough guys. You know what I mean? But I learned my lessons real quick. You know what I mean? And I was embarrassed by the tough guys who basically told me, you know what I mean? You and Casa make music. So that's my teenagers was keeping me out of trouble. Love the hyphy movement. Lived in Oakland at one point, so loved, you know what I mean, going to the side shows and watching it from the porch right in front of my house. You know what I mean? It was my teenager was diverse. It was cultural for sure.
Right. So, with you, still being raised under like a dynamic 2-parent household with a lot of culture, a lot of substance, right? But also having this, having the block literally kind of right outside. What do you think in those early years and those formative years kind of swayed you from being in the street more so? Because like you said, it was accessible. You know what I mean? You was exposed to all of that. But what kind of what do you think turned the narrative for you to be like, you know what? I want to do something else. Like I'm interested in all this other stuff.
It was you can't get away from it. Growing up in the Bay Area, a lot of youth who are with the SHIT, the reason why they're not with it is because a lot of them is raised around it. Because it's so directly, you know what I mean, right in front of you. So I think, you know what I mean, like for those who, you know what I mean, for those who taught me how to fight and those who like taught me like, oh, you don't gotta sell no this, that, and the other. You can flip a car the same way. You can sell patties on the corner or flip burgers the same way. You know what I mean? I learned all of my hustle tactics, learning the difference between hustling and a business, all of that good stuff. I just think for me it was a measurement of my parents not wanting to hide to me the struggles of black culture, the accomplishment, the parts that feel good, and the parts that could honestly be deceiving. Right. You know what I mean? So I think it was meant, you feel me, for me to see the ratchet side as well as an educated side at the same time.
Holistic experience.
Yeah, holistic experience for sure.
Straight up.
I think I stick to more of the other side because I just knew I was good at arts and crafts and music or something like that. Something creative, I just didn't know how to go about it. I didn't understand the business. I didn't know that. I just knew I had a voice, and people love my voice. You know what I mean? And people always used to compliment you in the hood about your gear. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's Silent B, but he stayed fresh. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I knew, you know what I mean, I look familiar and you look famous. So I knew it was something that down the road we could be able to create some type of value. But for us, it just worked out musically. So instead of being a part of the bull, you know what I mean, we took the stories and the things that we've been around, the experiences, and we either storytell it about it or we chant it, you know what I mean, and we turn it up.
So you turned it possibly a negative situation into a positive.
To a positive situation.
That's a beautiful thing. That's what we're trying to do. What are some of your favorite cultural movies, man? When we're growing up, what's some of the movies that influenced you a lot?
Crooklyn, Shotters, Belly, He Got Game, but that's more.
I gotta get my He Got Game in there. Yeah, still though, there's a lot in there though. Yeah.
Miracle at St. Anna. Yeah. All right. Oh, Rockers. Rockers
Ooh,
is a
that's a
good
good
movie.
Right.
Yeah, you probably know something.
And these are movies that really just resonated culturally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you see them.
When you see Belly.
Yeah.
It's like you get to see that somewhere, some online in San Francisco store. When you see Shotters.
If you ever been around any of this, you know what I mean? You've seen this type of shit before.
You got your cousin who halfway from the
You got your dumbass cousin here.
You know what I mean?
You got all that.
You know what I mean? And all that extra stuff. Well, yeah, but them type of movies. You was better at the movies better than I was. I'm just now becoming a Marvel nerd and all that extra stuff.
Bell Chapel.
Yeah.
We grew up in Bell Chapel.
Yeah.
Right off Palouse.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up? Because like you said, you do have the experience of having, being the streets right there, to having a family life and a home life, and then you got the church. What do you think the church? What role did the church play?
Well, a lot of the tough guys went to the church.
All the time. The first time I ever seen the first pair of grills was at Bell Chapel, bro.
Yeah, you know what I mean? A lot of the
Bell Chapel, bro. Straight up.
I would say for sure, San Francisco, you know what I mean, but could become a rude city. So I think every Sunday, no matter where you was from, you know what I mean, a lot of, you know what I mean, DuckTales, Gold Grills, Wally's, the whole shit. You know what I mean, everything. It was just a place of, this is our grandparents and great-grandparents who came from down south. This is one of the first places that they was able to first get, and this is pretty much how all those black folks ended up in San Francisco. So this is our communion celebration, you know what I mean, whatever. My church was turned up. Ratchet,
Bell Chapel was lit.
All of that.
You know what I mean? We was wilding.
So I think the church, that's where you first see the drums at. That's where you hear the organs on the piano. You know what I mean?
So music, it affected you musically just as well as like spiritually, though.
Because that's where I ended up staying in the projects on Saturday nights to go to church on Sundays because of different people I went to church with. You know what I mean? So it made me neutral. It made me very, very neutral as well because everybody from my church was from all over San Francisco.
What places outside the U.S. have you traveled so far, and where do you still want to go? And for the places that you have traveled, what did you learn from there? What did you get from those experiences?
I've been to Belize, Cayman Islands, Jamaica. I'm trying to think of some more. Hawaii, Kauai, Honduras. I've been to a few places, but all it really taught me is that you take a lot of those. I went there young, so you take a lot of the pictures at them places in order to know that you need to travel the world as you get older. You feel me? That's all it taught me. And once you go to different places and learn different cultures and different excitement and different things, it'll influence you to come back to either do more by your people to teach or to go back out there and explore even more.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, y'all. Here at Hello TV, man, we're going to switch over into some new segments. Let's do the quick hitters, man. So you break the sins here, man. You can't figure out what your answer is. You got to buzz down some push-ups.
For sure.
All right. First question. Malcolm or Martin?
Malcolm.
AI or Steph?
Allen Iverson.
Griffey's or Barclays?
Barclays.
Marvin Gaye or R. Kelly?
Marvin Gaye who?
R. Kelly.
I ain't answering that one.
That's push-ups.
But Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye. This a whole new what?
I don't know, man. Hey. This is pre-recorded. This is all, you feel me, freestyle. Run DMC or Eric B. and Rakim.
Run DMC.
Yeah, okay. Studio
Performing.
You passed on. You passed flying color. You messed up on what? Wasn't the one you messed up on? You want a 5-star or home cooked meal?
Home cooked meal.
Okay. Jacka or Jada Kiss?
Ooh.
Damn, that's tough. They like to stay almost the same run.
I hit 5 push-ups for that.
Yeah,
I hit 5.
You want to go ahead? Yeah. Y'all, I know y'all want to see this shit. All right. Woo! Man, there's some diet push-ups. We gonna keep it pushing though. Bob Marley and Marvin Gaye, sir. And you Jamaican, so I don't think you could.
Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Or Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
I'm hitting 5 push-ups.
You ask a real Jamaican about Bob Marley, they gonna do 5 push-ups. In salutations.
Yeah, but they Jamaicans love Marvin Gaye too, though.
Yeah, I know. Waka or Travis Porter?
Waka Flocka. Even though Travis Porter is a big influence, though.
If you had to live in one of these decades, would you live in the 60s or the 80s? That's tough. Well, it might not be as tough as you think, actually.
80s.
Yeah,
'80s.
I'd probably pick 80 too. Party or hiking?
I love throwing our own parties.
Yeah. Already hip hop, baby.
Hiking, because if I hike, I get a clear mind on how to throw the party.
Jazz or gospel?
Jazz.
Yeah. Belize or Tokyo?
I've been to Belize. I'm going to go with Tokyo.
Air Max. No, wait. Don't embarrass me. CB 94s or
Barclays.
Jordan 4s?
So Barkley 94s or the Jordan 4s? I'm going to be humble and say Barclays.
Because of where you from, that's unacceptable.
One, because of where I'm from, but 2, if you couldn't afford no J's, you can get some Barkels.
Yeah. I seen a lot of Bargels.
Yeah.
Okay, yams or melons?
Yams.
That's an easy one.
So, let's see. So when you moved to Oakland, you lived in a couple different spots, right? So I mean, I remember it was 55th and Fleming.
I stayed on 55th. When I stayed in Oakland, I stayed on 55th and Fleming. I stayed on the 102nd, and then I stayed on the 108th and Mac. So from the
I was right up
102nd.
from the OG of Binsburger right there.
Yeah,
Used to be
Binsburger.
down there. Okay,
Yeah.
yep. Okay, so man, what was the experiences like then? I mean, because I remember getting on the BART every single weekend after y'all left Lakeview, going.
Well,
to
we still
the
had
town.
our property in Lakeview.
You still had it, but you just moved.
Moved
Popped.
up, yeah.
So I remember getting on the BART. Either I was getting on the BART to the town, or I was going with John in the box chef to your house. And I remember the culture was crazy. Side shows every weekend, parties, block parties. It was just wild. Tell the people what your experience was like.
The difference between
I want to know the difference between Frisco, and then I also want to know the difference between the locations, between 55th, between 102nd and 108th.
Well, to be honest with you, the difference between Frisco was our hoods and our projects and ghettos are set up like boroughs, almost like New York. So staying on 55th and Fleming, it was just super, super, super black because the whole entire city was black. Versus you in Frisco, you got to go to specific areas, you know what I mean, to get the blackness. And a lot of them areas is hidden. I would say 55th and Fleming, that was lit because that was the black. Fleming was the black between 55th and Seminary. So, you know what I mean? I would say there was lit because It was just beautiful. It was black. A lot of black folks over there on their houses.
Right.
The ones who didn't was still, nice, respectful. Everybody loved each other.
So it was
showed
still communal. It was
real big communal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Versus it was communal in Frisco, but it was just communal exactly where it was at. Because you could be, you know what I mean? You got about 5, 6, 7, 8 black people on one street in San Francisco, but then you had about 30 different other nationalities.
Understood.
You know what I mean? Around you.
Understood.
So I say for sure 50/50 Fleming was lit because, you know what I mean, we threw block parties unintentionally every Friday. You know what I mean? Jamie and threw house parties down the street.
That's the first time I got drunk.
The first time you got drunk, you know what I mean?
Threw up right in front of the boys.
Right in front of that.
Come on, man, get in the house.
Right. What else? 100. When we stayed on 100 and Deuce, that was a little bit more military.
Okay, so what was it like on 102nd?
102nd was just more hood.
Just my little-
It was just a little bit more hood, but it was beautiful because you walk to the store, you get dollar tacos. You know what I mean? You had Durant right across, right up the street, a few blocks up. It turned a few blocks up into San Leandro, which had the Jamaican restaurant, Sweet Fingers, all that good stuff.
Rest in peace to Nate's.
Nate's.
Remember the
Nate's
sub
on
shop?
Bancroft.
They had a banana lemonade.
Yeah.
I never had a banana lemonade after that, bro.
Yeah, that was cracking.
Rest in
Then
peace,
106 and Mac was 106 was the exit,
Mm-hmm.
but 108th and Mac that was like you just walked outside and you seen the sideshow.
That was crazy.
I stayed right across the street from Foothills Square. So I would say back then, I would say the town was overall as a city was more blacker. You know what I mean? But
when you bring up the square, because it reminds me, you stay literally across the street from that square. Now it's a whole mini mall, right? But then it was still being developed.
it was
still
just
had
you
the
go over there and just play bingo.
The bingo, right? Right. So it was just an empty lot. So seeing that kind of has something to do, right, with gentrification and just the natural occurrence of things like changing and growing in the Bay Area. Did you notice any difference between San Francisco and Oakland
Gentrification?
in terms of gentrification?
No, it was no difference. It just took longer to get to Oakland.
Because it was more.
San Francisco is more economical and it's more money, so it moved faster. Oakland is like you can't get rid of all them people all like that all at once, but the city is starting to move faster in terms of what type of economics is coming into the city now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But overall, you know what I mean? Oakland was just more fun, you know what I mean? Because you had the water, you know what I mean? Frisco is like you go to different neighborhoods, but it's like if all the neighborhoods have a big old water fight in every part of the city, then that's all going to take place on one.
Right.
In Frisco, that's all going to take place on one hot ass day.
Right.
Out there, you know what I mean? I couldn't wait for the weekend. You get your super soaker, you know what I mean? You get all your little stuff,
Right.
you know what I mean? And you just go around, you know what I mean, having fun. We had moped, you know what I mean, races, all the stuff. So I think Oakland was just more, it was a little bit more communal, but you know what I mean, Frisco until I'm out of here though.
Okay. Speaking of the Bay Area, man, we rap, we make music. You an MC, you an artist. So speak to some of the rappers, the homegrown rappers from the Bay Area that influenced you growing up. You know, influenced your sound, just influenced the thought process.
Jacka is number one.
Sure.
San Queen, Shelsky, Kugna. That's because that was in the backyard. You know what I mean? I stayed in the houses. The projects was a couple blocks down on Randolph Street. Johnny Cash, Messy Marv.
Rich.
You know what I mean? East Coast wise, Busta Rhymes, Nas, Jay-Z, of course, KRS One, Biggie. A lot of people who had the strong voices and knew how to. I wasn't in the lyrics as much as I was into the people who knew how to do the crowd control, just MC the whole crowd. Jack knew how to control the whole crowd. You know what I mean? Johnny Cash had a specific way with words. You feel me? And then as of, you feel me, today, I love everything. You can go through my phone. I love everything that come out from the newer generation today. But I say back then, yeah, a lot of that. Conscious Daughters, as I got on, you feel me, and when I did go to Oakland. All the anything that was like, you feel me, a little mobbish, but you know what I mean, soulful, hyphy era, you know what I mean, Zionai, of course, you know what I mean, because they knew how to balance, they knew how to balance the poetry with the consciousness, with the street, and, you know what I mean, intellect. Yeah, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I would definitely say, yeah, a lot of them. A lot of them.
Okay. We love to eat, man.
Yeah.
We love food. We grew up in households, man.
Right.
Luckily, we grew up under black mothers who could burn. You know what I'm saying? Burn the stove down.
Right.
What's some of the fire food spots out here, bro? If I'm not from here,
before I say, I definitely gotta say Tupac too, because of the ism that he was given from here.
Oh,
and,
for sure.
And how close his mom was with my mom, which just told me like, because he used to come on my mom's radio show and do a lot of poetry.
On K-Poo?
On K-Poo, you feel me? So I definitely gotta say him too, because he was kind of like a arts and craft baby that was able to see a lot of stuff growing up as well.
And
So,
with artists like Pac, right? It's almost a given. You know, it ain't nobody who make music or just living in black skin that wasn't affected.
And then who I seen like take it the whole time. Before we answer the food question, I gotta say Mr. Fab. Literally, that went through all the phases that the Bay had.
And it's still here.
And it's still here, popping.
Finding new ways to reinvent hustles, reinvent the game.
He got the communities on lock in terms of doing his people, all of that.
Yes,
so
sir.
I definitely got to say that because it, the freestyle factor that he brought in terms of showing people that the Bay did have bars, and then always being able to create classes that made people want to rhythm and dance and have fun, but also he knows how to tap in on the consciousness and all that type of stuff too. But okay, so food wise, growing up, I'm gonna say Two Jacks, Moselle's.
Ooh, fish burgers, man.
Two Jacks, Moselle's. Moselle's is on Hollister, between Hollister and Jamestown. That's what Moselle's was. I'm gonna go with Beeps. It was a hot link shop on Holloway. I forgot the name of it at that Purple House. I gotta go with Beeps. I gotta go with Vikings. You know what I mean?
Rest in peace, Mayflower.
Mayflower on Ocean. Damn, Ocean Pizza.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We already said Two Jacks.
Yep. Rest in peace, old Beeps.
Old Beeps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? New Beeps is alright.
Yeah.
What else? Man, Cinco de Mayo, San Bruno.
Okay.
The burrito spot.
What about our favorite taco spot in the Mission?
Do I got one?
No, I know you do. You remember that?
Oh, Taqueria Vallarta?
Yeah.
Yeah, Taqueria Vallarta. Taqueria Vallarta for sure. For sure. Yeah, they're my food spots if you ever in the Bay.
I know.
And Moise.
Oh, yeah.
Now that I got older, though.
Man.
Yeah, Moise.
I know you already said Southern Cafe.
Southern Cafe.
Coconuts?
I don't know how I didn't say that. Southern Cafe, if you ever in Oakland, 2000 MacArthur Boulevard, that's my uncle restaurant, Southern Cafe.
Fine.
And
you might see E40 and Mr. Fab in that Too Short or somebody in that mug.
And then I would definitely say, who did you just say, the last one?
I think it was Southern Cafe.
Nah, but you said something.
Coconuts, man.
Coconuts. But originally I'm gonna say Sweet Fingers. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But,
Rest in peace, Sweet Fingers too.
But I'm gonna say I don't know if they back or not.
Are they?
But I don't know. And then for sure Coconuts. If you ever, you know what I mean, on your slither in Palo Alto, and if you in EPA in the hood, then Backyard for sure.
Ooh,
Two Jamaican spots.
Get that mango.
Yeah, the
drink.
mango.
I don't know what
Yeah,
it's called.
yeah, mango lemonade.
All right, man. I know. You didn't speak on the candy houses.
Oh yeah, any candy,
Yeah.
any candy house. Seriously, go any candy
That's a
house.
given. Yeah.
Any candy, nachos, burgers, fries.
Yeah.
If we was allowed to go to the projects on certain days, bro, I'm spending my last $20 at the candy house for sure.
Say that.
For sure.
Say that, man.
For sure. But them is definitely the food spots I recommend while you out here. Yeah.
Auntie Sha, like I said, she was a supreme social leader, a community activist, a Lakeview legend. She's in the Hall of Fame. She did a lot of things for a lot of black youth, helped a lot of kids. What was it like growing up with Auntie Sha, giving herself to the community the way she did and seeing how it affected her? What was your experience in that?
It was fun. It was ratchet and it was educational at the same time. So it was very straight up, and it straightforward in terms of blackness, but at the very same time it was understand, you feel me, not even about just your rights, but you know, by the time you get out of jail, you gotta feel me, you should have your own business. By the time you know what I mean, get out of school, you should have a program that you can go to that can teach you about the type of trades that you want to go into as you get older. So it's educational, but it was like, you know, it was black at the same time. So I think when you got leaders like that, like her, Feeny Shakur's, you know what I mean, all of these people who was with the blackness, it just teaches you, it don't hide you from what's going to happen in society, but it also tells you how you can get past society. So that's what my experience was with it.
It's a beautiful thing. And to switch gears even more a little bit, you started your own brand, Art of Hip Hop.
Yeah.
The Boombox, the Drip Box, you know what I mean? Hip Hop for life.
Yeah.
Could you tell the people a little bit about Art of Hip Hop, what that means to you, and maybe, you know, how you were raised tied into you owning a business or a brand like Art of Hip Hop?
Once we came out with a song years ago called Bus Stop Jazz. Labels started knocking on the door left and right. Then the labels kept on knocking on the door. Then after a while, I got frustrated with the industry. I didn't understand the business. I didn't understand publishing.
Facts. All that
stuff.
Yeah.
I just understood that we had a bunch of exposure. So as I sat back, I said, how is it that we could be able to own something going back into this? But a lot of people say you're supposed to be good at one thing, but I feel like you can be great at as many things as you want to be. So I looked at it like, you know what I mean, I knew how to knock on the door, I know how to use my, you know what I mean, my voice to reel people in, I know how to simplify hooks, you know what I mean, you know how to structure fashion, style, you know what I mean, image, wordplay, this stuff like that. So you gotta think about it, if you've been frustrated for so long trying to be so successful, all of that, how do you simplify that thing into one, in the one logo that if you just look at it, you don't even got to explain nothing.
An umbrella.
And that's when
so
we came up with the Drip Box.
Right.
We came up with a boombox at first because we loved hip hop. We got a picture of us when we 3 or 4 years old with the boomboxes in the room. We playing video games. So that's I just revamped that and I put the Drip Box there. The drip is just obviously the sauce. We done heard sauce since we was kids from Mac Dre.
Dipped in sauce, man. You know what it means. Yeah.
So we was like, we just make it saucy. So we got the Drip Box, and then we got the boom box, and then we put the drip at the bottom of it, and then from there, you know what I mean, we said we're gonna product develop, we're gonna throw our own and book our own shows and our events, and we'll run our own merch and collab with people on art as long as they don't mind collabing with us in our Drip Box. So you don't gotta know the Jealous Guys in order to see a boom box that makes you resonate with nostalgia, music, or anything to love that Drip Box. It's just luckily, you know what I mean, it funnels back to us, TJG, the Jealous Guys.
But the overall of it is just the love and the aesthetic of hip hop, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So I came up with that just so we could have something that we could own in the art game.
Ownership.
It's ownership.
Simple as that. Got you. You used to produce
all
our beats.
Yeah.
The fuck happened, man? And then also, what being a producer before, you know what sounds good, you know what sounds right, you know where things need to go. Where did you learn that? Where did that come from?
Well, my dad played a lot of Gregory Isaac in the house all day. Mom, went from Nas to, you know what I mean, 3 Times Crazy to Jill Scott, you know what I mean? So it was already different sounds in the household. Pops would always be on the turntable a Sunday by himself when we did go to church. So you come back home and you see him on the turntables.
Right.
I think I listen to oldies, I rap. I made the lyrics because I wanted to be, when you get busy. But then, you know what I mean, busy also got, you spell busy, B-U-S-I, you don't spell it, but it got business in there too. So you can be busy with the lyrics, but after a while, you feel me, you got to figure out the business part. So I was just okay, this is a sample that people love from the 80s that'll bring them back. Right. This is something that people love from the 70s. This is the original sound. This is this. So it's like, how do you be able to create the value of it of it with today and be able to people put it out and people today be like, oh, I love it, even though it sounds like it's from way back then. So I just studied a lot of samples, you know what I mean, between Japanese jazz to 70s to
Digging in the
rockers,
crates,
reggae,
man. Yeah.
digging in the crates, and then that just taught me, you know what I mean, shit, everything sound better once you put that 808 on it. So that's how I started making the beats.
Right.
But then once, you know, you start telling me like, well, why don't you do the hook, or why don't you do da. You know what I mean? You would sit there and spit the lyrics on the songs, and then I would just say, okay, let me try to use my voice, not to water it down, but just give them something that they could keep on saying repetitive. You feel me? So that's how I just study sound. And literally, when I close my eyes, like, and I hear certain music, I see wave frequencies. You know what I mean? I literally see that. So it tells me like if it's a good vibration or if it's a bad vibration. You know what I mean? Or scattery or too much. The less the beat that got on it, the more that you can say. But sometimes the less you say in that hook, the more it relates to the world. Your hooks is always gonna be your money. Your hooks, your choruses is always gonna be your money, and your lyrics is gonna be your core fan base that falls in love with you.
That's deep.
So that's how I feel.
That's deep. Yo, core lyrics, your verses, your core fan base, the hooks is what bring people in.
Yeah, that's the money.
Independent or label, and why?
Independent or major label? Independent. Cause you, if you came into it and you invested to yourself, then you gonna figure it out yourself. You put your ism in somebody else's hand, they gonna play the game how they know how to play it. And it's either gonna work for you to the point where you're gonna get a bunch of exposure, or you is gonna get that one hit, you know what I mean? But you got to come right back around for something that don't work in the same formula to keep them satisfied versus just going through your ups and
Going
downs.
through your mission, independently, and just going there. Okay.
Would you rather be in the projects and start your business outside of the candy house, or do you literally want to just wait for that bus every day just to go into somebody else's restaurant and then make them rich? You feel me?
Make yourself rich, man.
Make yourself mentally, spiritually, all that. Financially too.
Casa TJG, half of Art of Hip Hop, half of the Jealous Guys, half of Hello TV. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and most definitely hit that notification bell. Much love, y'all. Hey, man, this has been episode 1.
Hello.
Brought to you by
Konnichiwa.
Art of Hip Hop, brought to you by Wastrel, brought to you by Oceanside Sea Moss.
Get your sea moss.
All right. Man, peace and love to y'all, man. We really love y'all for tuning in, tapping in with us, getting to know us a little bit. I hope y'all have enjoyed this first episode. I promise y'all we will be doing these every week, or as much as humanly possible. Keep tapping in with us. We got a bunch of new music. Obviously, we're going to have a podcast coming. We got a bunch of new merchandise coming. Websites getting built. Events are getting laced up. So tap in.
Yeah,
with
July
us, man.
2nd, we'll be at Sheesh Records throwing the party.
There you go. What's the name of the party?
Affirmations party.
Okay.
The Affirmations function / festival.
Okay, and can you tell the people where to find us, sir, socially?
At the Jealous Guys. For my account personally, I handle the one for both of us. At Casa TJG, artofhiphop.bigcartel.com, at Oceanside CMOS, and at artofhiphop _ all on tags on Instagram. So that's your, if you need you some CMOS, if you need some gear from us, if you need some gear from us, that's artofhiphop. At artofhiphop _
Yep.
And then if you want to tune into the music, at the Jealous Guys _ and then his personally at Casa CASA TJG. Signing out.
Love y'all, man.
Peace.